Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to watch this. Like I always say, I am like a program, perhaps, that was written a little bit differently from the matrix we all find ourselves within. So I might be a bit different. You can plug yourself into the trusted name in news, CNN, and the Washington Post or the New York Times, and just plug yourself into their stream of consciousness that is only based on truth, reality, and Joe Biden's empathy and warmth of touch, and his warm and wholesome persona. But I'm not written in that manner. So you don't have to watch. But Hillary Clinton is the only chance they have to get close enough to where they can get their team of lawyers to dispute President Trump's win. So Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee, and she's going to be, or replace the current nominee who just recently meandered off into Biden world. He said something to the effect that the pandemic led to 100 years of... He was trying to say 170 to 180,000 lives have been lost. What he said was 100 years had been lost. Something bizarre. Anyway, I'm not even going to play the video because every single video from Botox B is basically a Trump re-election ad. And that's why Democrats and media, oh my God, media, they don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's like it never happened. So you can go to GOP War Room, or you can find today's video or yesterday's video where Biden goes off into slurred speech and another tangent that's just really, really bizarre, and nobody knows what he's saying or what he's talking about, or how his communication skills make people ask, well, is he one fry short of a Happy Meal, or is this some kind of routine? Is this a shtick? Anyway, the bottom line is the following. There's no way they're going with Biden if they want to make it competitive. If they want to tank the election, sure. President Trump is already gaining a huge boost from the $1.4 billion, and that's a conservative estimate, of property damage in Democratic-run cities within Democratic-run states. So you have $1.4 billion in property damage. You've had already 10,000 arrests, but they're all been very peaceful. It's very peaceful property loss. So insurance companies are going to have to recalculate premiums to reflect the increase in likelihood that a business will be torched by very peaceful protesters wanting justice. Anyway, Hillary Clinton is the only chance they have. Share my article below in the Huffington Post. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. That was written in February of 2017. If you want to support my voice long-term, people, my Patreon is below. And also, 9 p.m. Pacific this evening and every evening from now until long past the election, I will have a live stream. These live streams get up to 800 viewers. I mean, I'm serious. This is amazing. I have the most amazing people everywhere from Finland to Nepal to Australia to Canada to the UK. It's just amazing. They're in Mexico. They're wonderful. I have people throughout the world watching. And of course, I have my amazing viewers within the United States. So it's the best late evening live stream about politics live stream in all of YouTube. And I have a pretty small channel of, around 150,000 subs. Now, subscribe also to H.A. Goodman's other channel. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm a member of the $11.99 Foundation, which is a beautiful, wonderful philanthropic organization that helps the families of fallen California Highway Patrol officers, provides scholarships for the children, does a lot of great things. The CHP is it's not just a law enforcement organization. I mean, they do everything. If your car is broken down or if you get into a wreck on the freeways of California, I mean, you have hundreds and hundreds of miles of highways and roads and freeways. They're there for you. So anyway, the link is below if you want to donate, but it's a law enforcement organization, but, not just a law enforcement. They do a lot. So, God bless the men and women of the California Highway Patrol. And so that's what this beautiful plaque is. I'm a member of the 1199 Foundation. You can be a member as well the link is below in the description. And my support for law enforcement doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge that Eric Garner, in a Democratic-run city, in a Democratic-run state, was murdered in 2014. I understand this. George Floyd, in a Democratic-run city, in a Democratic-run state, was murdered. I understand this. I understand that laws have to be changed to address the fact that if a person says, I can't breathe, you must, you cannot subdue the person by putting your boot or your knee on the person's neck. I don't care if the person has narcotics or is overweight. That's not relevant. At a certain point, immediately you have to step off the person's neck, let the person breathe, and then if you need to, take the person into custody, but you cannot. So, see, the left is, oh my God, you either think one way or another. That paradigm, like I talked about the Matrix, the computer program that this country is running on, that's going to change very soon when President Trump is reelected. They're going to have to think more logically about a whole bunch of things. But Hillary Clinton is going to be a replacement for Biden if they have any hope. See, if Biden goes into the debates and he's on the ballot, they're done as a political party for an entire generation. I say this with all due respect to the great Tom Perez, a man I respect greatly, and the Democratic National Committee chairman, and all the wonderful Democrats. I respect them so much. If you go with Biden, you will lose a generation of voters. Really, I guess I don't care. I left the Democratic Party about 2 years ago. I'm supporting President Trump. I think that democracy and the Constitution and the values that make our country great, President Trump is standing for. You might disagree. That's fine if you're on the left. But ask yourself who the Lincoln Project is voting for. And who are the Hollywood celebrities and producers and directors who live in the most who made their living within the most immoral, corrupt, insidious industry? Ask who they're voting for. Who's James Comey voting for? Who's Debbie Wasserman Schultz voting for? Who's Max Boot and Bill Kristol? The Lincoln Project people and Bernie Sanders are voting for the same political candidate. They say they're voting for Biden once Clinton becomes the replacement, and it could simply be a meeting from the great chairman Tom Perez saying, look, we need a change. He's now slurring his speech to the point where nobody can really understand what he's saying. And again, if it's not a shtick, if it's like serious, what they're doing to this man is criminal. And you can say that Trump drinks water in a bizarre manner, or he walks down a podium, slowly. It's not like Biden calling Arizona a city, or saying that he wants to run for Senate, or saying that 100 years have lost their lives because of the pandemic. Something bizarre that he just recently said, like 24 hours ago. This is not happening. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? It's not. I will not accept this, because not only do I have the biggest political call of all time, well, I have a great call in that President Trump, despite media obsession against him, and they continue to make statements that are inaccurate and false and deceptive and lies. President Trump didn't retweet a nationalist account. The video within a Spanish language account that he retweeted. The video embedded within is linked to questionable people. How you expect the president to look? I mean, the left it's unbelievable. Biden makes the most offensive racist statements, and they're like, oh, come on, it's okay. You expect Trump to find out where the video was first taken or who first retweeted the video of a horrendous act being seen in New York. Anyway, that's a whole other story. President Trump did not retweet a nationalist profile. That's false. That is categorically false. The profile was a Spanish language profile for Trump. Then the video itself, they embedded within the tweet, and the video itself was linked to questionable people. And then, of course, all the headlines you hear is Trump amplifies. They're so deceptive, it ain't going to work. You have $1.4 billion in property damage. Now they're trying to say Biden is the law and order candidate. Nobody believes this nonsense. Nobody believes that he can actually stand up to President Trump in a debate. The polls are tightening to the point where President Trump is going to lead Biden. Then what? I'm telling you, the DNC, they know that Hillary Clinton, and this will be the absolute biggest political call of all time. If not, they lose miserably, and it's still a great call. And we have a great party on this channel on November 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, the entire month of November be on this channel, especially for my live stream at 9 p.m. Pacific. So not November 3rd at 9 p.m. Pacific. And I'll be doing live streams all throughout the day and uploads, but November 3rd, you're going to be looking at, we'll pretty much have a good understanding of how many votes will be counted on November 4th, because Democrats are super happy that there will be votes counted on November 4th. They're so happy that the election won't be called on November 3rd. Gee, I wonder why they're so happy. Oh, that's right, because they cheat. Just ask the people who utilize that wonderful app in Iowa. Or ask Bernie Sanders, who was cheated. Actually, don't ask Bernie Sanders, because he'll be like, oh, yeah, no, I wasn't cheated. What was the problem? Every day there's a gaffe. Every day there's something bizarre that takes place. Every day the polls tighten. Every day the swing state polls show that President Trump is either up or tied. They worship, their appeals to authority are so pathetic and hilarious and sad. These imbeciles never learn. You would think they would learn after the absolute catastrophe, political massacre that they experienced in 2016, with Trump winning and the polls saying that Clinton was going to win in a landslide. She was even on her way to winning Arizona and Texas. You would think they would say, God, these polls are completely messed up. They're public relations, press releases. When the polls tighten, they reflect reality. It's not the other way around. The rebuttal to what I'm saying is, oh, you only care about the polls when they tighten. No. I always said Trump is up. At best, he's tied, and he's up, really, in polls. And when people actually have to vote, it's different. There's a difference between saying, who would you vote for now? And there's like apoplectic, seething, fuming media coverage where you only have negative 92%. He's 150 times more negative coverage than Biden. Well, what do you expect? There's a difference, and the media is still apoplectic, but its control and its influence upon voters is dwindling. And the less influence media has on the average voter, you see the polls reflecting this. And the reality is that President Trump has a lot more support than people think, because 60% of Americans don't trust media. And what happened to Nicholas Sandmann is one of the reasons, and it's happening to other people too. What happened to Nicholas Sandmann? He won, hopefully he won like $100 million, but let's say he won $10, $15, $20 million. He deserves more. From the Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. That's their tagline, their motto. Are you kidding me? You went after a miner because he wore a Make America Great Again hat, and you wanted to paint him as somebody who was demeaning Native Americans, and that never happened. And it's not just the Washington Post. Lynn Wood, the attorney, is going after. They're now going to get settlements from other other cable stations and publications also. So, you talk about the message that President Trump has. It's the law and order messaging. It's not resonating with Biden, and everyone wants peaceful. Like, everyone wants peace. They don't want cities to be overrun with maniacs and lunatics. Democrats are the true racists, and here's why. They truly believe that only Trump supporters want cities that don't have mayhem, chaos, and riots and looting. And they're the ones, they think that this is a partisan issue. It's like, no, nobody, people of every background want peaceful cities. The fact that Democrats view this mayhem and chaos as Trump's re-election strategy, it's like, no, it's happening in Democratic-run states. And you can have mayors like Ted Wheeler or, the governor of Wisconsin or whatever. They can say, oh, your divisiveness is only inflaming and adding gasoline. It's like, nobody believes the nonsense. So, at the end of the day, they're going to need some kind of enthusiasm. Biden is even more boring than this video. Paint watches Biden dry. Biden, the most amusing part about Biden, or the most interesting, is sadly the most pathetic. When he goes into these really, really sad tangents, and then he stops himself, and then he starts over, and he just says, "Oh gosh, I don't know what I'm saying, but still." And then they say, well, Trump drinks water. They've convinced themselves that life is morally relative. That's part of the matrix. They cannot admit. They despise President Trump because many of them have issues associated with Trump's personality. They see they watch Trump, they listen to Trump, and it's like, it's some unhealthy thing that takes place in their mind. I love Hillary Clinton. Are you kidding me? She's fantastic. The fact that she's still fighting, I love that. I used to be a Bernie Sanders supporter. I want anyone who can fight, please. Bernie, gives up in 2 seconds. Oh, you cheated me? Oh, I'm sorry. Russia, if you're listening. Did I do good? Debbie Wasserman, help me out. So I love Trump taking Americans away from sending them, drawing down our soldiers, sending them out of regions of conflict that we've been in for 20 years. And the rebuttal can't be, well, what happens if we leave? Yeah, after 20 years, if that's the rebuttal, we need to leave. Removing soldiers from Iraq, from Afghanistan, ending the war there, officially, from Syria. This is a president that does exactly what he says, and I think that never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts are ending American counterinsurgency conflicts is the number one responsibility of every American. That's what I believe. And you vote for President Trump, you're gonna get to that goal, that objective. Infinitely more important than climate change. Why? Because climate change, you need other countries to do exactly what you're doing, to have any possible impact. With President Trump and what he's doing, he's immediately reversing U.S. foreign policy, and a lot of all the vitriol is about what Trump is doing in terms of foreign policy. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. We can go on forever. I mean, I'm going to continue to do these. I don't care if Biden's on the debate stage, because I don't think he will be. My prediction is that on that ballot, it'll be Hillary Clinton. I'm telling you, on that debate stage, if it's not Clinton, they lose miserably, because Biden cannot compete with Trump. He cannot. This is a fact that even Pelosi knows. So I don't know what their plan is. And I don't care, really. I don't even care how it happens. A meeting with Tom Perez, who cares? At the end of the day, I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Hillary Clinton is the only chance they have. She has the gravitas, the money, the enthusiasm. Biden has zero enthusiasm. Zero. And nobody knows what he's saying. Half the time, and nobody asks him any questions. With Trump, the White House press corps is always, oh my God, they're like a bunch of piranha. They're always after him. With Biden, they're like, hey, Mr. Vice President, sir, please. Okay. I mean, the media is not even pretending to be objective. They're not even pretending. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hillary Clinton will be across that ballot on November 3rd. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. And we're going to go 8 years with President Trump, which is something I've also been saying. Give me your thoughts below. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Thank you.